I'm Louise from the MCF's Advice and Support Team, and I visited Chris, a new almoner in the province of Herefordshire, to talk to him about safeguarding.
Yes, so I'm Chris Holt, and I'm the newest almoner in our province, and probably the youngest almoner in our province. But I would like to know a bit more about some specific areas of the role.
Okay. Happy to help. So anything
Certainly.
you wanted to start with?
Well, certainly something that comes across a little cloudy is the issue of safeguarding and what we need to do.
It's essentially the action you would take to protect somebody who might be vulnerable to any sort of abuse or neglect. And in the context of your role, that might be when you're going out and visiting people, if you come into contact with all different kinds of people, as you know you do.
Yes. Yeah.
Any of them could potentially be victims of abuse, whether they're adults, children, young people. So it's just having that always in your mind when you're visiting people, just being alert and aware that things might be going on.
So do you think that anybody can be a victim of abuse?
Yes, anybody can be a victim of abuse, but there's obviously groups of people that are particularly vulnerable to abuse. So that might be somebody who's got disabilities, somebody who's older, person with dementia, children, young people. That tends to be because they've got some other kind of vulnerability, that they are more at risk than other people.
Okay.
And often it's because they come into contact with more people who are supposed to be there to care for them, but don't always have the best intentions.
Yes, I guess those with physical or mental disabilities are very easy to manipulate in certain instances.
Potentially, yeah. And they're much more reliant on other people, and quite often that can get confused, that reliance, with somebody taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
So they might think that they owe somebody something because they're caring for them, because they're providing them with a service, and obviously that isn't the case. That should be given unconditionally.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. We're here to help regardless, yeah.
Yeah. There can be physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, neglect, and they all manifest in different sort of way, and is very individual to each person who's experiencing the abuse.
Okay. So you mentioned a number of different types of abuse. How would we necessarily recognise these forms of abuse?
Sometimes it can be hard because obviously the abuser doesn't want people to find out, but there are some things you can look out for. So you might see physical signs of abuse. So if somebody's appearance is unkempt and that's out of character for them, if they've got marks or bruises on their body, if they're losing weight, then also you could have sort of signs of financial abuse, which might be suddenly they don't have enough money to buy shopping, they might be selling their belongings.
Yeah.
When people are being abused, they can also become quite withdrawn, not wanting to engage with people. They might seem like their personality's changed, and there doesn't seem to be any reason for it.
Yeah.
So all those sorts of things. It's just really when you know a person and you see that something's out of character for them, along with any physical symptoms, then that's when you
should be ringing the alarm bells.
Exactly,
yeah.
You may also encounter neglect, which is the most common form of child abuse. A child may be put in danger and not protected from physical or emotional harm. A child may be hungry, dirty, without adequate clothing, shelter, supervision, medical or health care. Remember, standards of living differ in all households. If it looks or feels wrong, report it.
I guess as well that it's not just us as almoners, it's members of the lodge and also members of the community that are responsible. We all have a part to play in spotting things that go on.
Exactly, it's everyone's responsibility, and you as almoner coming into contact with a lot of members of the lodge community are in a good position to spread that message to other people as well. Make sure everybody remains vigilant and keeps an eye out for each other, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. and what can we do if we suspect that forms of abuse are taking place?
The most important thing would be to take action and to alert the relevant authority, so whoever that might be.
You should report concerns to social services or the NSPCC.
So we shouldn't necessarily be concerned about raising the issue whether we suspect or not. It's better to say something than not to say something.
Exactly, yeah. So there's no need for you to do any sort of investigation, to look into it yourself. Just any concerns you have, if you bring them to the relevant person, and then it's up to them to then take it further and do the investigation,
Okay.
all that sort of thing.
I guess the other issue would be making sure we keep a note of concerns like that, so that we've got some evidence if we do need to take it further.
Yeah. And obviously, depending on the situation, depends on how you would respond. So if it's simply something that you may have seen which led to you being a concern, but you don't think there's any immediate danger, then obviously you'd record it and report it. Whereas if somebody's in danger, they're injured, it's an emergency, obviously you would then take that straight to the police.
Absolutely,
Dial 999 if necessary, the emergency services. So you'd have to deal with each situation as you came into contact with it, really.
Okay, that's great.
Don't delay reporting. If there is an immediate and serious concern, call 999. Remember, you must not investigate yourself, but you should keep detailed notes of what you have seen or heard.
The MCF website is also a great resource for information. So as well as the almoner's guide, there's also policies specifically regarding safeguarding of children and young people, and one for safeguarding of adults. So that's a great resource. It's got all the different types of abuse in there, who to go to with any concerns, how to recognise abuse, sort of all the things we've discussed today, really.
Okay, yeah, so a great resource. I have been on the website and I've seen a lot of those fact sheets. I hope to see the new ones on there shortly.
Download the Almoner's Guide and the MCF safeguarding policies by visiting mcf.org.uk/almoner.